All right, let's dive in. What we're talking about today isn't just some small upgrade to logistics planning. No, we're talking about a fundamental rewrite of the rules. This briefing is all about a groundbreaking study to build a truly AI native system for network strategy.
And look, the stakes here couldn't be higher. We're dealing with multi-billion-dollar fuel distribution networks. In a game this big, a single percentage point of inefficiency can mean millions in lost revenue. The traditional way of doing things, relying on human intuition and a whole lot of spreadsheets, it's just hitting a wall against this kind of complexity. It's time for a new way forward.
So to make the case for this study, we're going to walk through a really clear, logical path. First, we'll tackle what we call the planner's dilemma. Then we'll introduce a totally new set of rules. We'll define the all-important human validation team, walk you through the intense 8-week gauntlet, and finally, show how this whole thing leads from just raw data to a truly defensible outcome.
Okay, so here's the core problem, right? The planner's dilemma. Even the most seasoned expert, I'm talking decades of experience, has hidden biases and, let's face it, cognitive limits when you're staring down thousands of sites and all these complex constraints. Your gut feeling, your intuition, it can get you pretty far, for sure, but it can't find the true, unbiased, optimal solution in a system this massive. It just can't.
And this quote just nails the solution. We have to completely flip the script. So instead of people using AI as a sort of fancy calculator, we're proposing a system where the AI engine takes the lead. It comes up with the optimal, data-driven plan, and then our human experts step in to do the crucial job of challenging it, validating it, and improving the system itself. Now, to make a huge shift like that actually work, you can't use the old rulebook. It just won't fly. You need a completely new, disciplined process that's designed from the ground up to eliminate bias and force rigorous, structured thinking. This is all about creating a system that is objective and, really importantly, repeatable. This whole new process is built on 4 absolutely non-negotiable rules. 1, the engine makes the first move. Period. 2, the human team's job is purely to be the opposition. They critique, they poke holes, they don't create their own plans. 3, every single piece of criticism has to be structured. It has to map back to a specific flaw in the model's logic. And rule number 4, probably the most important of all, no manual overrides. Ever. If a result looks weird, you don't just change that one data point. You fix the engine's logic so it never makes that mistake again. See? This is how the system gets smarter over time. So you might be thinking, are we just handing the keys over to some black box AI? And the answer is absolutely not. Far from it. This entire process is built around a dedicated human validation team. Think of them as a group of subject matter experts whose only purpose is to stress test the AI's conclusions against cold, hard reality. And their roles are super specialized. You've got the economic lead, who makes sure everything is financially viable, checking profitability, investment costs, you name it. The geography lead is validating service reach. The capacity lead is laser-focused on operational bottlenecks. And then there's the validation lead, a critical role, who makes sure every single recommendation is defensible and can be clearly explained to the board.
So how do we actually build this thing? Well, we do it through a disciplined 8-week sprint that we're calling the gauntlet. It's a really methodical process that's designed to take us from just a baseline model to a fully validated, robust, and repeatable planning system.
And here's how it builds, week by week. We start by defining what failure even looks like before we ever see an output. Then we actively try to break the engine. After that, we confront it with real data, critique its patterns of failure, test its robustness, and finally, prove the entire process can be repeated. It's a journey from a theory to a proven, valuable asset. Week 1 is just brilliant. Before a single person sees a single AI recommendation, the whole team gets together and aligns on what failure is. They create what's called a red flag register, defining all the unacceptable outcomes, economically, operationally, geographically. This basically removes confirmation bias from the equation right from the start. It's so smart. Then in week 2, the team gets to go on the attack. They design these engine killer scenarios, these really tricky situations where a simple optimizer would totally fail. Things like a rural monopoly or a site that's high margin but really low volume. Their job is to anticipate the AI's blind spots and design tests to expose them right away. And then comes the moment of truth. After a warm-up week with some fake data, week 4 is the first real confrontation. The team gets the very first output file from the engine based on real, full network data. No more theory. This is where the validation process really truly begins. Week 5 marks a huge change in mindset. The team actually rotates roles to get fresh eyes on the problem, and their focus shifts from just flagging individual weird results to identifying patterns of failure. The goal isn't to play whack-a-mole with one station's bad result, it's to submit a change request that upgrades the engine's core logic for all future runs. This whole rigorous process leads us to the ultimate goal. The final output isn't just a spreadsheet full of recommendations. It's a living, breathing system for making high-stakes strategic decisions with total confidence. And this is one of the key outputs, the robustness matrix. In week 6, we run the engine against upside, downside, and base case scenarios. This lets us classify every single decision. The always keep and always sell categories, those are our high-confidence, no-brainer calls. The marginal ones, that's where we know we need to focus our strategic attention. It provides just an incredible amount of clarity. In week 7, we focus on what really matters for getting buy-in: explainability. The team builds a decision rationale pack, literally writing out the clear, concise business case for all the key recommendations. And here's the cool part. If the AI can't generate a clear reason for a decision, that itself is flagged as an explainability gap that needs to be fixed. And finally, week 8. This is the ultimate proof. The team does a full end-to-end dry run with a completely new set of input data. And what this does is it demonstrates that the outcome of this study isn't just a one-time analysis. It's a living, repeatable system that the business can use again and again to make better, faster, and way more defensible decisions. So let's be crystal clear. The request here isn't just for data to create some one-time plan. It's for the data to build a permanent strategic asset, an intelligent, defensible system for making critical business decisions. The real question isn't, should we do this? It's, how can we afford not to build this?